When the power grid is gone, how to make an emergency phone charger. Disaster zones and in war, entire power grids can vanish overnight. Chargers, stations, and backup batteries are gone. Your phone may still have signal, but at 0% it's useless. In this video, I'll show how to build an emergency phone charger that actually works when every bit of infrastructure is destroyed. I built a hand crank generator that forces mechanical energy into stable USB power. No batteries, no excuses. When everything else fails, this is your last backup and maybe your last chance. These motors look similar, but their operation isn't. Type A uses a synchronous motor. Type B is a stepper. Those design differences in coils, magnets, and rotor geometry determine whether you get stable output or almost nothing. And with a hand crank, that gap becomes critical. I need at least 5 volts, and this motor easily exceeds that. The output is more than enough. That's the same voltage used for USB phone charging. Why do we need this? Because a hand crank generator produces a noisy, unstable voltage. So we have to apply a voltage regulator to smooth and stabilize the output. On the left, the rectifier takes the unstable AC coming from the hand crank generator and forces it into a single-direction DC waveform. It's still rough, so the small capacitor smooths out the ripple by storing and releasing energy as the voltage rises and falls. Then the 7805 regulator locks that cleaned-up voltage to a stable 5 volts, giving us the same steady level used by USB phone chargers. I purchased this L7805 regulator kit cheaply on Amazon, and it's perfect for getting a clean, stable 5-volt output from the generator. The next is Type A assembling. In this step, I'm placing the 2 plastic gears into a custom CNC machine case. But you don't need a CNC machine to do this. Any sturdy enclosure that can hold the gears firmly in place will work just as well. As long as the gears stay aligned and can rotate smoothly, the material or manufacturing method doesn't matter. So you can build this with whatever case you have available. Since this part doesn't have any bearings, I need to apply lubricant to reduce friction and keep the rotation smooth. I'm using roughly a 31 gear ratio here to boost the rotational speed. This synchronous motor can light an LED, but it simply can't deliver the current needed for phone charging. Even with a regulator, the output collapses under load, so this Type A setup has to be abandoned. The plastic gear set provides sufficient mechanical efficiency, allowing the motor to maintain smooth rotational motion. Under this load condition, lighting an LED has no issue. At this stage, I'm measuring the raw rectified output, with no voltage regulator connected yet. Type A uses a synchronous motor, but hand cranking only pushes it slightly above 5 volts. It can light an LED, yet the output collapses under the current demand of phone charging, making this design unusable for practical power delivery. We are now moving into the Type B assembly process. Type A didn't produce enough power, so now I'm trying a stepper motor. I'll test its output by lighting an LED first. Even with a 100-watt LED connected, the voltage still climbs up to 145 volts. That's why the stepper motor is much more suitable as a generator. All right, let's go ahead and install the stepper motor. Now I'm assembling the Type B unit with its stepper motor. This one uses a multi-coil design with 2 independent output channels, which helps it maintain more consistent low-speed torque. And as the gearbox goes together, you can see how each step transfers cleanly into the drivetrain. That's the reason Type B delivers far more usable power when hand-cranked. With the stepper motor, the output performance is significantly better. It produces higher voltage with greater stability, even under load, making it far more suitable as a generator. The second channel also delivers strong output, showing that the stepper motor can generate solid voltage on multiple phases. Now I'm installing the IC chip 7805 on the aluminum case, making sure the pins are aligned so it can interface properly with the rest of the circuit. Since the generator has 2 output channels, it uses 2 rectifiers in parallel to increase current. Refer to the regulator diagram to see how that combined current is fed into the control stage. With all components mounted and the USB connector in place, the assembly is complete. The green LED has been omitted to avoid unnecessary power loss and to keep the generator's output as high as possible. Now I'm completing the final assembly of the enclosure. At this point, the crank spins easily due to the lowered friction in the mechanism. Regulator output testing. When I hand crank it, the output climbs to about 4.902 volts, and it doesn't drop immediately when I stop. That brief hold is caused by the regulator's output capacitor, which stores charge and releases it momentarily, preventing an instant voltage collapse. To show how the voltage decays, I'll pause the cranking for a moment. You can see the output dropping slowly because the regulator's output capacitor releases its stored charge instead of letting the voltage collapse instantly. As you can see, the stepper motor's output and the regulator's control stage are working exactly as they should, delivering a stable and well-managed voltage. A load test using a small motor. The motor is spinning smoothly and responding exactly as expected. Now it's phone charging time. As shown here, I hand cranked the generator for more than 20 minutes to push charge into the phone. Yes, we're now at the final stage. And as you can see, the phone is able to place an emergency call. That means the objective of this experiment has been successfully achieved. If you enjoyed this build, stay tuned. I'm continuing to test, refine, and push this generator design further. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next project.